thanks for joining me. If you're tuning in once again, you'll know that I recently went on a European road trip from Turkey with my husband and dog. We traveled around for a couple months, and I wanted to share some of the highlights with you. One of those places which was new to me was Switzerland. It was my first time visiting, and I was stunned by the natural beauty of the Alps. Like in my other videos, this trip didn't have a destination in mind, and instead we just took the time to drive up and down the mountains and take in the sights. I hope you enjoy. One of the most interesting parts of driving through the Alps was watching how the mountains changed. In some areas, they were thick with trees. In others, soft, rolling hills stretched out, covered in alpine meadows. And then just as suddenly, the landscape would turn stark, with barren slopes rising into the clouds. On our way up the mountains, we came across the Grimsel Dam and Reservoir. The dam was built in 1925 and at that time was the world's largest. Glacial water and snowmelt fuel a vast hydroelectric system that powers much of the area. Years ago, a large crack was discovered in the concrete, and they've since been building a new dam directly in front of the existing one. As we continued our way along the Grimsel Pass, the clouds seemed to drop low, and suddenly we were inside of them. I imagine this is what it must feel like to be a pilot flying through the clouds. At over 7,100 feet above sea level, the road twisted along the mountain edge as the world around faded into a soft white. As the day wore on, we reached the nearby Furka Pass, perched at nearly 8,000 feet above sea level. Up here lies the Rhone Glacier, which is the source of the Rhone River. The Rhone winds its way through Switzerland and France before finally reaching the Mediterranean. Switzerland is home to over 1,400 glaciers, though sadly they are shrinking. Rising temperatures have caused a significant loss of ice mass in recent years, and even these beautiful landscapes that seemed as if they would be untouched will continue to change over time. The next day, the skies cleared, and we were greeted with blue, wide-open skies with white, drifting clouds. It felt like we'd stepped into a different season. We made our way across the Oberalp Pass, where rolling green hills stretched out around us, and the surrounding was speckled with grazing cattle. Perched up here in the mountains is a red lighthouse meant to signify the source of the Rhine River, which is just a short hike away. Although it seems out of place up here in the mountains, it's actually meant to be a replica of the one that was originally in the Netherlands in the delta of the Rhine. Throughout the Alps, you'll often see gondolas floating silently above the green mountain meadows. Even in summer, they're still active, carrying hikers, mountain bikers, and adventure seekers high into the peaks. We didn't ride one on this trip, but I did step into a station just to check out the prices. And like most things in Switzerland, it wasn't cheap. A one-day pass was surprisingly expensive. But I guess that's the trade-off with a place this beautiful. Stunning scenery often comes with a high price tag. But if you plan ahead of time, it won't catch you off guard. Later on our drive, we spotted the La Pendenta Bridge while browsing Google Maps and decided to take a short detour to check it out. This suspension bridge was opened in late 2024 and spans nearly 900 feet across a deep gorge. It's a striking piece of engineering tucked into the landscape. And one thing that stood out to me while traveling through Switzerland is just how thoughtfully everything is built, from the tunnels and winding mountain roads to bridges like this one. It all feels carefully designed with a real quality that you don't see everywhere. Not far from the suspension bridge, we stopped at Disentis Abbey, a Benedictine monastery with roots stretching back more than 1,400 years. While much of the interior appears recently renovated, the history is still very present. You can see it all over in the details, and there's even a crypt where the monastery's founders were laid to rest. I know I didn't have a lot to say in this video, and maybe that's the point. There's so much to do in the Alps for all sorts of adventure seekers, whether you're into hiking, camping, biking, or even paragliding. It really is an adventurous paradise, but I must admit, that's just not me. I was happy simply to observe the beauty that surrounded me. And sometimes, the most meaningful part of travel is just looking and letting the place speak for itself. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this little video. I really appreciate it. And if you'd like to stay up to date on where I go next, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and giving this video a thumbs up. Until next time, thanks!